Chapter 30 of Australian Legendary Tales Folklore. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Australian Legendary Tales Folklore by Mrs. K. Langloh Parker. Chapter 30. Wahambeh the Turtle. Oolah the Lizard was out getting yams on a mirror flat. She had 3 of her children with her. Suddenly she thought she heard someone moving behind the big mirror bushes. She listened. All of a sudden out jumped Wahambeh from behind a bush and seized Oolah, telling her not to make a noise and he would not hurt her, but that he meant to take her off to his camp to be his wife. He would take her 3 children too and look after them. Resistance was useless, for Ulu had only her yamstick, while Wahambeh had his spears and boondies. Wahambeh took the woman and her children to his camp. His tribe, when they saw him bringing home a woman of the Ulu tribe, asked him if her tribe had given her to him. He said, "No, I have stolen her." "Well," they said, "her tribe will soon be after her. You must protect yourself. We shall not fight for you. You had no right to steal her without telling us. We had a young woman of our own tribe for you, yet you go and steal an Ulu and bring her back to the camp of the Wahambeh. On your own head be the consequences." In a short time the Ulus were seen coming across the plain which faced the camp of the Wahambeh, and they came not in friendship or to parley, for no women were with them, and they carried no boughs of peace in their bands, but were painted as for war, and were armed with fighting weapons. When the Wahambeh saw the approach of the Ulu, the chief said, "Now, Wahambeh, you had better go out onto the plain and do your own fighting. We shall not help you." Wahambeh chose the 2 biggest bowroons that he had. One he slung on him, covering the front of his body, and one the back. Then, seizing his weapons, he strode out to meet his enemies. When he was well out onto the plain, though still some distance from the Ulu, he called out, "Come on!" The answer was a shower of spears and boomerangs. As they came whizzing through the air, Wahambeh drew his arms inside the bowroons, and ducked his head down between them, so escaped. As the weapons fell harmless to the ground, glancing off his bowroon, out again he stretched his arms, and held up again his head, shouting, "Come on, try again, I'm ready." The answer was another shower of weapons, which he met in the same way. At last the Ulus closed in round him, forcing him to retreat towards the creek. Shower after shower of weapons they slung at him, and were getting at such close quarters that his only chance was to dive into the creek. He turned towards the creek, tore the front bowroon off him, flung down his weapons and plunged in. The Ulu waited, spears poised in hand, ready to aim directly his head appeared above water, but they waited in vain. Wahambeh, the blackfellow, they never saw again, but in the waterhole wherein he had dived, they saw a strange creature, which bore on its back a fixed structure like a bowroon, and which, when they went to try and catch it, drew its head and limbs, so they said, "It is a Wahambeh," and that was the beginning of Wahambeh, or Turtle in the Creeks. End of Chapter 30.